There's competing demands on New York's waterfront. The city has plans to encourage industrial development in half a dozen zones, but environmentalists and community activists are raising pollution concerns. Jake Mooney writes about the issue in City Limits, and he joins me now to discuss his story. Hi, Jake.
Hi, Don.
Much of your piece is focused on concerns that if a hurricane hits the city, it'll cause extensive flooding in waterfront industrial zones. Is there actually a fear that chemicals from the factories will leak out and pollute the nearby neighborhoods?
Yeah, that's part of it. It's the fact that there are some brownfield sites that people frankly don't know what's there because it's been there for so long. You have garbage transfer stations, sewage treatment plants. I spoke with one environmentalist who is concerned just about run-of-the-mill construction, which if there was a strong enough storm, she said maybe you could have glass flying everywhere from broken windows.
What kind of new development does the city want to put in these industrial zones?
It's a lot of different things, honestly. The plan is very broad and calls for everything from esplanades to parks. As far as the industrial zones go, we're talking about piers, container ports, shipping-oriented things. Also, fixing up sewage treatment plants.
What's the reaction from environmental justice activists? They're not happy with this?
It's not that they're not happy with it. I think that environmental justice activists say that industry is an important thing to have in the city because it's a source of jobs. I think the concern is that it be shared fairly among neighborhoods. It's a question of who's benefiting from some of this construction and who's being hurt by some of it, and they'd like to have that be borne equally among city neighborhoods of different income levels.
Isn't this really an age-old dilemma? On the one hand, there's a need for job-creating industry, and also there's a need for a clean environment and in fairness as far as where all of these industries are distributed.
It is an old dilemma, and I think part of the problem is it maybe wasn't always considered to be a dilemma. The waterfront was a place where basically people went to dump things and to put undesirable uses. And you have people living in closer quarters in some cases to some of these industrial areas where what may not have been a concern before is a concern now.
How great is the danger of a big hurricane actually hitting the city and causing extensive flooding? We really haven't had a direct hit in a long time.
It's true. I read a statistic that I think the chances of a hurricane hitting the New York metro area in a given year is like 2.5%. But if you go out to 50 years, it rises up to like 13%. I guess 50 years sounds like a long time, but the concern from some of these activists is that if you once you build something in a place, it's there. So you really do need to think pretty far out.
Jake Mooney. Jake has a story in City Limits looking at the competing interests of job-creating waterfront industrial development and environmental protection. Thanks, Jake.
Thank you, Don.